Hang loose, bro.
Welcome to Basement Boys 2. We're here for episode 26.
Heyo.
Boy, the sound is not as loud as before, is it?
No.
I don't know. It seems I'm gonna have to be doing some tweaking, I think.
Yeah. Well, you just moved everything.
Yeah, I moved everything around. We've redone I've redone kind of the studio setup for the show. It's been kind of a fun little project. That's why we're at an angle. It looks like Derek and Adam are about to slide down into me.
Yep.
So into me.
Yep.
So
it's because we're surfing, bro.
I've got our camera propped up on. I've got our camera propped up on a stool.
Yes.
On top, and it's on top.
Like a shim.
Yeah, there's like a wood shim, and then a little package of saw blades.
Would you say that? Would you say that it's a surfed shim?
Yeah.
Underneath of it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Surfed shim.
So
I want to welcome Adam to the program.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
At SC Sampson.
Two ways.
Because he plays video games.
Yeah, that was my WoW character's name for like 10 years.
But that's also at SC Sampson on Twitter as well.
Yes.
So you played WoW for 10 years?
I mean, I pretty much played since it came out. I still play.
Do you?
I mean, when I can. Usually when like an expansion comes out for just a little bit. But
No, it got louder. Did you figure it out?
No.
That's weird.
Oh, the fun.
There's
stuff.
something. I'm going to have to play around with it and see why.
Well, that's all right. No biggie.
Is that any better?
It's 0. I'm silent.
Oh, there.
we go.
Wait, okay. Oof.
Maybe
I mean, you guys
this
all sound good
is
to me.
better.
Okay.
Okay.
That's right.
How about that?
Should we do some plugs?
Yeah, let's do the plugs.
Well, firstly, make sure you find us all on Twitter at SC Sampson, at Anonymous Prime, at Basement Boys 2.
I can't get Basement Boys back.
It's gone.
It's gone.
The Twitter page?
The Twitter page, yeah. Someone, as soon as I let it go,
Someone took it.
someone took it. Hasn't tweeted from it.
Huh.
It's just gone. Now I'm officially Basement Boys 2, no matter what.
Well, that's all right.
I'm curious if there's a way to petition it back because there hasn't been any usage. They do that for websites.
Do they?
Else. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
You can't just sit on stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
well.
I think they call them
I'm not that
squatters.
worried about it. But
Make sure you all check out our new website, though. Looking good, looking fine.
Fine.
www.timespentpoorly.fun. Why is it?
Sorts of fun.
What's your tagline? You came
what's
up with
my
that,
tagline? It's
because if you're not spending time
because if your time's
for
not
it,
being spent poorly, then what fun is it, or
there
something
you go,
like
I
that?
like that.
If it's not being spent poorly, what fun is it? Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Let's sit here and keep saying it like a weird autistic kid. If it's not spent poorly, what good is the time if you're not doing it?
Since this video is being broadcast on YouTube, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for more content.
Lots more content.
Lots more content.
That is the fantastic thing right now that we're doing now that we've kind of shifted our focus under the Time Spent Poorly banner.
Right.
We've got a lot of content there. We've got blogs. We've got multiple podcasts going now. We moved Stranger Show onto its own feed.
Yep.
And it's on iTunes now, so you can go out and download that directly.
That's great.
We've got Basement Boys 2 is on its own feed, as it has been, but we moved it over to under timespentpoorly.fun. And so if you go to, and then
and sports program. The sports program podcast is now available at timespentpoorly.fun. Of course, you can also still find it on klcz.com for now.
Yep.
Which is awesome. And then Hanging 10 has one episode so far. We're working on getting time to sit down and do more. I'm in the middle of a remodel that we're starting. We're not doing the work, but we're doing the demo this weekend. This time.
Stuff.
Yeah. But so it's been busy couple weeks.
I'm sure.
Just even building up to doing the work.
You were doing a bunch of stuff to your house too.
Yeah,
at one point.
Yep. Yeah, we did some new flooring and carpet just recently.
And then that deck.
Did you do it yourself or pay for it?
Did the hardwood, or we did the laminate wood ourselves.
Oh yeah.
And then paid Home Depot's doing free installation. So
on the carpet.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
We did that, and then I built the deck last summer, which was not what I wanted to do last summer, but it was.
Did it consume most of your summer?
Yeah, pretty much every night after work, doing some stuff out there.
Crazy,
good stuff.
Yeah, but it's good. It was fun.
So usually on this show we talk about it whenever, especially when we have somebody on the first time, it's kind of like an origin story.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd talk about why and how you got involved with Time Spent Poorly again.
Yeah.
But it goes further back than that.
How far back does it go? Oh, yeah.
About the band that we were in, that you actually wrote all the music for and recorded all the music for. And actually you were pretty much the criminal mastermind behind all the music that went into it, which is actually, when people talk about it, is the best part. It was really the only good part of the band was the music, which you had done all your, all the stuff yourself. And I always like to point out to people that you didn't take lessons at any instrument. Really. It just a pretty natural ear for music.
Well, and I'd been in a band previously for 4.5 years, playing bass.
But you learned how to play bass for that band.
Yeah, yep. We were in high school. My stepbrother and my other buddy, we just made a band, and then it evolved into a pretty long endeavor.
Yeah. Wow. So then that band disbanded, and then we had started becoming friends. Went to a few shows together. And you worked at Pizza Hut.
Yes.
And I remember going in there bothering you at Pizza Hut with Jared.
Yep.
And then I don't know how the band came about. I think we were just bored. And I had always wanted and G's. I don't have any musical talent.
A couple of these were consumed, and you said, "Hey, let's start a band." And
yeah,
like, let's do it.
So then we made music. I'll loosely call it music.
It was a 2-man show, and then we had 2 more guys.
Then we added Pat Riddle, and we added Zach Swan, who was on the show with us. It was a really good time. We only played a handful of shows, only had a handful of songs, but it was a good time. So from that, though, we maintained our friendship.
Of course.
I mean, steadily since you graduated in 2004, I was in 2003. So since you graduated, at least, we've maintained friendship since then. Because I don't know if I really knew you before then.
No, we met at that show downtown.
So there was a show.
We were audience members of the show.
Audience member of this show. Have to point out that most of the people who attended the show were probably between 13 and 15 years old. And then there was a bunch of, more people closer to our age. We're about, he's 18, 19 years old, 5.
Yes.
And I'm 6'3", and so we're towering over this entire audience.
And we
of people.
Didn't really know each other yet.
Not really. I mean, we had known each other here and there from shows,
yeah.
but not like enough to like even constitute being friends. And then at this show, we ended up standing by each other because I think we just started talking about nonsense. And then we're kind of hanging out for the show. And then this one part of the show where this band, I don't remember what band it was.
Christian rock band.
Yeah. And this guy, the lyrics to the song are, "Where are we going? What are we doing tonight?" And it was
I know.
It wasn't very loud, this part. Like when he's singing it, it's not very loud. So you can hear the crowd. And so the guy's saying, "Where are we going tonight?" And Adam's just like, where are we going tonight? In the middle of this crowd, I was like, "What are we doing?" He's like, what are we doing? And just completely disrupting their music. And I think we're both assholes, and so assholes. I think we exchanged numbers like that night, exchanged numbers, and then the next day I texted you and asked you what you were doing, and you said you were hanging out with Raymond Schnidler, and you're hanging out at your old apartment with your girlfriend, and you go, "We're hanging out here and we're watching G.I. Joe videos." Do you remember those G.I. Joe cartoons, the spoofs that are like?
No, I didn't. see them.
They're like these G.I. Joe spoofs. They're pretty funny.
It was the PSAs.
Yeah, they're like PSAs from G.I. Joe,
Okay.
and they took them and then they redubbed over them.
Oh, yeah,
so
I think I've seen them.
Yeah. So I go over to his house where Ray's there, and for like an entire afternoon, we watched we like pretty much discovered like Sick Animation together because we watched every cartoon on Sick Animation, and then honestly from that day, pretty inseparable. I mean, like became friends, and like that's just the way it went. Like we were friends. Like so, we did the band together. We did other like just goofing off. We hung out a lot. I went to Pizza Hut all the time. Basically, like I've eaten a lot of Pizza Hut pizzas because we just go in there. He's working, and then just hang out. And his ex girlfriend now, but the girlfriend at the time was also working there. We became very good friends with her as well. So then we're all hanging out with at Pizza. She worked at Pizza Hut too.
Yep.
So a lot of time is Pizza Hut. Then we continued going to a ton of shows, and that that kind of brings us to where we are now. But after Basement Boys 1, which we've talked about on 1,000 episodes now, but I left the show and continued doing my own show. But then I started doing Nathan's, which was Time Spent Poorly, this podcast, which you had gifted to him as his own show. And then I lived with Nathan. So when you live with somebody, you tend to spend a lot of time like coming up with ideas, and it's kind of like we talked about in other episodes where like you have how many skits of you came up with your friends where it's just like hilarious conversations,
right?
And then didn't ever do it right, or didn't do very many of them. Well, Nathan and I would like hang out at his house and we'd talk about it. But then I'm like, well, I'm going to do a podcasting again. And then Nathan was doing Time Spent Poorly. So at some point we're like, well, let's do Nathan's a big Kevin Smith fan, like Smodcast.
Yeah.
So we're like, hey, well, let's do the Time Spent Poorly network. I was dating somebody at the time who was getting into podcasting. And that's all it was, though, was just podcasting at that time. It was in Nathan's basement. We came up with a few different shows. Like there was my show, like the program podcast for listening, and then I
love that name. I still love that name.
Well, the new we changed it to sports program podcast.
Oh,
maybe we'll add a for listening on there. But it was the Derek Young program podcast for listening. There was Nathan's show, Time Spent Poorly. Still, he did like the flagship show. And then Katie Reed's Nerdgasm, where she would just talk about comic book stuff.
Yeah.
So we took all those shows and we did it like an umbrella. And Nathan was spread so thin because it's his equipment.
They had that hanging from the balcony one.
Oh, and then hanging from the balcony, right. Well, that came a little bit later because at a certain time, Adam basically, I think through me, met Nathan. I think you'd already known him a little bit, but like through me, like met Nathan. You're a tech guy.
Oh, for sure.
You like tech. It's a hobby.
I'm a computer nerd.
Right. So at a certain point, you're like, well, hey, why don't we like record these shows? Like be on the internet. And I don't even think at the time it wasn't even YouTube. I mean, YouTube was out there, but people still weren't putting shows on YouTube like this. So we were using Twitch at first. Remember? So Adam basically took one of his old computers and built it to where we could stream these shows using OBS, which is overlays, and they're beautiful. Something I would definitely in the future love to do with my Let's Plays, because the overlays really add something to it. If you go watch the old videos on YouTube, they look so much better than what I'm doing with the Let's Plays. They're like, hey, let's do this. And we're like, cool. So then he brought his computer down. We took basically Nathan's basement that we've been doing podcasts in, and then completely remodeled it again and turned it into like a studio that has cameras. We set up two or three webcams to get different angles. And with OBS, you could have like one on one side, one on the other, and simultaneously broadcast from both. So you could see so we would have one camera on you and one camera on us.
Right.
So, and then have it side by side in the OBS. Looked great. you can even take those because the overlays. So you could even take those and with a keystroke, basically, that he came up with all that stuff. Do another keystroke where it was like a picture above a picture, and then have the third one where you can actually look up the thing you're going to talk about.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
So-
a video or website or something.
Yeah, so he'd pull up like a movie trailer or something.
Right. Ustream had a little bit of that capacity back when we were doing Basement Boys,
Yeah.
because we did it a little bit, but we didn't.
Did we use Ustream at all too, or was it just Twitch at first?
You know, it was Twitch because it was easy to get the videos from Twitch to YouTube, but not the other way around.
Well, remember, Twitch also had just... So Twitch was originally only for gaming.
Right.
But then they opened it up to where you could do podcasts on there. I mean, you can do a ton of stuff on Twitch now.
Yeah, just,
Well, Ustream, what ended up happening, if I remember right, is they started locking a lot of their features down, so you had to pay for them,
Yeah.
and so it became harder to get the access.
when Ustream was going, it was actually Justin TV was what Twitch was called.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, okay.
And that was the whole
Shit, that's
umbrella,
right.
and then it became Twitch because that was the gaming side of it, and it obviously blew up with
And it worked,
tournaments and all that stuff that
Right.
was going on.
which is still huge, actually.
Oh yeah,
So basically, Nathan had the kids, right? So that was the end of
The
Times Square
dissolution.
Poorly. I mean, that's it, because everything's from his house. Then he has kids. So if you're the person that's involved with every single show, and he was editing the podcast to put them online, and he was doing this, and he was doing that, if he was doing a lot of
Right.
stuff, then he has kids, completely takes him out of it. So Adam got the computer back, that computer that you had built basically specifically for that, and then that's what came was the first iteration of Oh Good, my Let's Play show, because we moved it down to my comic book store, and I did a few streams from the comic book store. They're not great because it's really grainy, but you came up with Pen 15 Gaming,
Yeah.
which was great.
it was my inner child that came out. with
Yes,
that,
Pen
for sure.
15 Gaming, and it's not high quality because the internet wasn't very high quality. I mean, the reason why
Right.
it looks good now is because my Xbox is wired in. Everything's wired in. I don't have anything. I'm not using Wi-Fi for anything because I want the best quality as possible.
Right.
So then we started doing those. I sold the comic book store and was going to do it for my house, and basically I just kind of tuckered out, I guess. Got tired of it.
We all did.
Yeah, we all did, and then, but even when we first started doing Basement Boys again, Edison was still really little, so it was like, I couldn't get you. Kind of started seeing Nathan on these shows again more.
Yeah.
But so when we started this again, I was like, all right, I'm doing those goddamn Let's Plays, but I'm doing it different.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that's exciting about the thing is that it's something that's a hobby and fun, but we've made it a little more. We started seeing Nathan on these shows again more.
Yeah.
But so when we started this again, I was like, all right, I'm doing those goddamn Let's Plays, but I'm doing time.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that's exciting about the whole thing. Take something that's a hobby and fun, but we made it a little more business structured, where we're like ability for doing stuff and like having it on there and coming this.
Right. Well, there's division of labor, and there isn't just kind of sitting around waiting for content to create itself. We have to actually get out there and create the content.
Exactly.
And it was like for me writing that kind of cathartic in a way, because
I'm sure
it's been forever down and put pen to paper, go on long diatribes in like a chat and a conversation or
right,
Facebook post, but this was fun because I could sit and
right,
peace out.
And it was good.
Thank you. I enjoyed.
I liked all of them so far.
I don't know what her pen name is.
She just. I don't know.
I thought.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Some.
What it was. I liked all. Of them.
I don't know what her pen name is.
I asked him.
I thought
Yeah, I remember
I think it's still Nikki. She did great. So that's the team, right? The four of us, like, okay, like this is what we're doing.
Which has been amazing, and it's to accomplish stuff.
I think so. And it's like, hey, let's do this.
A lot of the credit goes to a lot of work with the site, and that's been.
It was fun. I'm a computer nerd. I actually enjoy the process of it, so it was an hobby.
And that's somebody was asking me like what the end result is, and I'm like, well, the end result is I think it's 4 to 8 people, however many people get involved, that are just looking for an outlet to create content, whether it's blogging or pictures or videos or podcasts. Like, we just want something fun to do.
Yeah,
we just want to put it in one location so that it's easier to find, and so that there's more there, so that maybe eventually something.
Yeah,
if it generates nothing, then it's still fun putting it together.
It's still a body of work.
Yeah,
and that's kind of a neat
absolutely
thing to just say you're involved with.
Yeah, but at the same time, booked all of May, sent calendar invites to people. Live by that calendar. You're probably somewhat the same way. I mean, you got a calendar.
I live by my wife's calendar. Yes, 100%.
But you know what I mean, right? Like, it's
cover the shift. I gotta talk to my wife. I don't know what she planned for me.
Right? Yeah. But I mean, so I had like this calendar, and so I was like, okay, well, what if I started sending calendar invites to others? They're all getting older. It says Saturday, I have this thing for an hour to go do this show. Well, I think you're more likely to go do it. So now I'm just, I'm not gonna flake out on it, because now I'm looking at it as more of like an obligation. It's an obligation that I want to do, but now it's an obligation that's been in my phone, and I can't just be like, no. And it started with, I wonder that it's like every Thursday, unless I go delete it because of a specific week.
Right.
And now Saturdays. And even on Sunday, I've been putting on edit oh good, to get it out there.
That's awesome.
Because I want to post it on Sundays. That's like my goal.
Are you able to just sit there and do it with your finger, edit with your finger, or
I do it on the MacBook.
Do you?
So MacBook for her graphic design stuff. Tablet that wouldn't work.
So do you have a separate mouse for it?
I bought a mouse.
Did you? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I still can't figure out most of that technology. But she ended up buying that thing for her graphic design. When, as it turns out, the tablet still didn't work for her because she needed a bunch of like hookups because it's a MacBook and they're garbage. So she bought a new tablet instead. She bought a new tablet instead that works for her PC. It was basically like, hey, well, do you want to use this MacBook for school? Which is, I don't have a laptop. And I was like, yeah, I could. It'd be nice to maybe have something for school that is not. Then I've started messing around on there and saw that iMovie was free. And then was to go download those Let's Plays off of Twitch and then edit down to under 15 minutes and then upload it to YouTube. It's really easy to do. I was like, okay, this little laptop's gonna do me well, actually. So yeah. No,
that's awesome.
I've been overall. I mean, one of my, I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorite things, I go to bed pretty early. And so sometimes when I wake up and I look at the boardroom chat, I'll see you guys all talking like until like 11 o'clock at night. And I go back and like read it all. And I'm like, that's like,
if he's like made it so the ding doesn't go off, because he's not really involved in the conversation.
Yeah, it's a lot of Adam and me having a conversation.
Well, I think he might have it to where the ding's off. I know he hasn't left the group chat.
No. And he responded the other day.
He probably turns it off. I think he responded the other day. I think what he does is
you can mute it.
I think he mutes it. And then, because the other day I think he responded and was like, "Hey, everything looks really awesome. It's really cool. You guys like kind of all in one thing." And it's like, I bet he hadn't looked at it for a few days, because I think he even said like, "Sorry, I've been so quiet," but like, hey. Nate, we understand. I mean, they understand especially, but like,
yeah,
we get it. And like I said, I mean, I pretty much just like from when we started this, I was like, I think just, he's just warming up in the bullpen. As soon as he's able to start making content, then I'm looking forward to that, because he's hilarious and should be.
Well, and That idea that I kind of tossed over to you the other day about the YouTube videos, because you were saying we gotta create like content every day.
Yeah.
I think
I think so too.
Got some promise. We needed to kind of flesh it out a little bit more, but
so one of the videos I watched posting, well, I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. We're doing that once a week at least. And then they're saying like, well, like once a day. And you're like, good God, who has the time?
If you were only doing YouTube, yes. But I mean, stuff's getting posted like 4 or 5 times a week on the website.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. The website's getting a lot
because we're doing writing stuff and
activity.
then the 3 different weekly shows.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah. I mean, the website's already got a lot more views on it than what I even could have hoped for when you sent those analytics. That's great.
Yeah, that was cool.
It's getting some traffic.
Yeah.
So let's keep them on coming.
Keep it on.
For sure. But I do think there's some potential for that idea, though.
Oh, yeah. So the idea Ward has is that basically, so, you know, you can get YouTube on the phone, right? Well, we were messing around on YouTube, and on the Time Spent Poorly YouTube on my phone, you can hit the camera and then basically like someone starts a thing and then he does a response to that and then like kind of like do like around the horn.
Oh, okay.
And then like
about a specific idea.
Yeah, and even if it was like 1 minute to 3 minutes long,
right?
Where it's like you sitting in your car.
Yeah.
Then I think there's something to that.
Yeah, because there's cool. You can, depending on what you want to do, add props.
Yeah,
just completely.
And because
because you can build your own kind of scenario for yourself.
And because they have because they have so many playlist options of setting stuff in a playlist, you can move it all into one playlist and call it like Around the Horn, you know, where it's just like us responding to each other. I think Around the Horn might be taken, but I think that's an ESPN thing.
Sports broadcast.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. But anyway, you know, something like that. I love the idea.
Spell horn differently.
Horny. Sorry, stupid.
Dad joke.
No, I think it's been a lot of fun. I don't want to do a whole show where we just talk about the show, but I mean, it's been so much fun though.
Yeah, we've taken 2 weeks off, and this has been a big development over the last couple of weeks.
This has been something that it was, and we had Will on the show last time, which was when we were first starting this, and I was like, man, I feel bad for Will because I want to talk about this.
It's gonna get overshadowed.
Yeah. but yeah, it's been an absolute blast. And I love seeing the new developments on the website every single time.
It's only been a couple weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Since the end of April, because I was on vacation when I started the boardroom chat.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And that was right, April 30th. So it's not even been a month.
Yeah,
it was right at the end of April.
You're right. It was during a Dogwood Festival. During Dogwood Festivals when I ran into you and was basically. So this is really funny, Ward. A Dogwood Festival. So I had called. We didn't talk on the phone, but I think the idea earlier, like the night before, maybe.
Yeah, you were.
I do that because I'm like, I don't want to type a whole like paragraph. Yeah. But then I'm like, well, fuck it, I can't wait. So so I text you because we had already talked about talking to Nathan before.
Right.
So I called Nathan, and then we talked about just everything we were wanting to do and getting ideas from him that something he's gonna want to do eventually here. And it was like, okay, cool. So then I texted you again and said like, hey, Nathan's on board. Let's we can do this. And then lo and behold, I'm like, I'll talk to Adam. Like I'd already been like, oh, I'm gonna talk to Adam too. I think I even told you, I'm gonna talk to Adam too because like he was a big part of like Time.
Yeah, I think you said something about he can help with the website.
Oh yeah, he can help with the website. I'm like he's a tech guy, and you know, completely
the vaguest statement ever.
Oh yeah, I think I did tell Ward that you were a tech guy to the point of that I can't even tell him what you can do because it's too like I don't know.
The words you describe what I do is like
I'm like
too much.
He does a thing. It's I don't know. So then lo and behold, at the Dogwood Festival, I was working at the KLCZ booth because we're kind of obligated to help out with that because we do the show.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, little Adam Sullivan walks by.
With my entire family.
With your entire family. You come by to say hi, you give me a hug, and I go, hey, by the way, like in like one sentence, I'm like, hey, by the way, we're starting Time Spent Poorly back up as a network. It's gonna have Basement Boys. It's gonna be like Nathan's gonna be involved. It's gonna be I want you and me, and I have a few other people I want to talk to about it.
You and said sign me up.
Yeah, no, yeah, literally. I know you literally. I didn't even finish, and you're like, yeah, whatever. And then no, you yeah, sign me up. And then you came back for a second later, and we talked about it for like one more second. And then like as you're walking away, so you're like, oh yeah, like so text me or whatever the details, like I'm in or whatever we're doing. Like seriously, like just like that. And I'm like, then I text Warren. I'm like, so Adam's in.
That's awesome.
And then it was like, and then from there, like you made the boardroom thing, and then I mean that was it. That was Murder She Wrote. That's it.
Well, yeah, and the tech aspect of it, the part where Adam's kind of taken the helm, has been awesome in that regard, because I was always kind of a reluctant. I reluctantly jumped into having to do a lot of this stuff, because when I first started the show, I wanted to do it all, but I was going to lean almost entirely on Dustin.
Right, yeah.
Who was going to do it with me, because he ended up getting the website going.
Dustin Ellis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's pretty techy.
And so he got the website going, he designed the artwork and everything, and he got all that stuff going. And then he kind of bailed.
Right.
For his own personal reasons. And so rather than quit, I just decided to I bought a For Dummies book on like writing code, and so and this was before
like Foursquare or
Squarespace or
yeah.
WordPress. Those things I think existed, but
not like they are now.
Not in the way that as user friendly as they are right now.
Oh yeah.
And so I was sitting there messing with code for what felt like forever.
Right.
So I'd be playing around in the HTML, and then I'd go over to the web, and I'd actually go out and see what it looked like on the website, and then I had to like play around with that. Then I learned how to write RSS.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, it was fun once I got the hang of doing it and posting it every episode, but not having to do that in that way now.
It's so tedious to have to manually do that stuff.
Yeah, because I'd have to basically I'd copy and paste the previous week's information.
Yeah,
and then change all the details. It was a pain in the ass. But
well, it's just kind of funny how it evolved though, because you kind of reluctantly did that, and then basically you handed over the Time Spent Poorly name to Nathan for him to do one show. Yeah. He's doing Time Spent Poorly. He's doing his show. Then his thing turns into like because Basement Boys was going along that way too, of being like because remember so Basement Boys, remember Nathan and I started doing the nighttime shows, the Basement Boys PM, because we were doing because I lived with them,
right, and we had Rage at Work, and there was
so Basement Boys was actually turning into a bit of a network too. We had what's his name, the comedian.
Billy Ray. Yeah.
Billy Ray, but he was going to start doing like sports kind of stuff. Actually, his first episode might have been his only. I don't know.
He did, I think 6.
Did he? Pretty funny stuff. We talked about sports and
it was okay.
It was something different. It was sports. But like that was kind of becoming a network in and of itself.
Yeah.
Right. And then so you're like reluctantly kind of like learning more. And then Nathan started to do the same thing with Time Spent Poorly. And then thank God, again, Adam came aboard and was like, hey, like how we thought about this. Like, because remember when you first started talking to Nathan about doing on video and stuff, his eyes were big. Like he was excited, but it was just when he just like
overwhelmed.
Like what do we have to do? And then, I think you write out instructions of how to get OBS started and stuff and like what we needed to do. And then you wrote out.
I had a lot of frantic phone calls.
Yeah. Just trying to get.
What are we doing again? It's supposed to start.
Yeah. And I think you were present for a few of the shows to get it going.
Just to be there. Like I wasn't even in the room, just to press play and make sure.
Oh, you're like an engineer.
Yeah, basically.
Turn the soundboard, turn the knobs.
And then when I started my Let's Play for when I was doing Pen 15 Gaming, you're helping with that too.
Well, because I had been doing lots of that.
And you had been doing those already.
I have 200 videos on there probably.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I did a lot of walkthroughs, like how to beat levels and stuff. For games.
You had quite a few views on there.
Yeah, I got like 60,000 views probably now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I still get like $500 to $600 a month sometimes, because the game gets popular again, so people like have to figure out how to beat it.
What game is that?
Well, it's a lot of games. Like I did a game called Mag Runner. It's kind of like Portal.
Is this on YouTube?
Yeah, it's
on the Pen 15 Gaming TV.
Yeah,
nice.
That was what I was doing that before I joined in with this guy.
Yeah,
are you able to monetize it, or is it?
I did. I was actually I've been partnered for a while, but they changed all the rules.
Yeah, they changed all that
3 months ago.
That's why
I don't have enough.
You used to be able to. Months ago, we would have been able to start this and monetize immediately.
I was making roughly 50 to 60 cents a month. So, I mean, it's pretty much almost a job replacement.
50 to 60 cents. Yeah.
So if you had to think about it, you make about $1 every 1,000 views.
Wow.
When it comes to when people click and stuff.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So I've made maybe $70 over the last 5 years.
But the thing,
I'm not claiming it on my taxes.
But the thing is, though,
I've never taken any of the money.
The stuff I've seen, though, is like key is because there's so many podcasts on YouTube now. And I think what it comes down to is it's not just the views at a certain point. You basically use the analytics from YouTube to show that you have a listener base or a viewership. And then you use that to approach advertisers.
Right.
So then you start doing like when you listen to even AM radio and they start talking about Casper mattress and stuff.
And they have actual sponsors.
Right. So the thing is, like, it would be nice to get monetized on YouTube and make, a few cents here and there.
Unless you're getting millions of views. It's not.
Right. But if you can get to the 1,000 subscribers and get to where you're getting actual views on videos and stuff, then you could probably start approaching some sponsors to be like, hey, would you want to sponsor this episode? And then, then they go to that website and they put in a code, like your promo code to buy something, and then you get something from that. Like that's like the key. But that's way cart before the horse, obviously.
Of course.
I just want to make funny.
Of course.
Oh, hey,
of course.
Do you have any more of this?
Yeah.
Mind if I have one of them?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sweet. Are you good?
I mean, I'm empty.
Go ahead.
Would you like another one?
Sure. I think there's 2 in there.
Oh, I don't want to take yours.
No, I can have you can. Well, there's a chilada in there too.
Chilada.
So you can have whatever you want. But I'll have a chilada.
You want a chilada? Is that what you like?
I'll take a chilada.
So it's past 15 minutes.
What's that?
It's been live past 15 minutes.
Yeah, for 50 minutes actually now.
50?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So hopefully
we've been doing show for about 40. I was gonna say, what's going on there, Lush?
Well, I think I had it in
that 3.5% alcohol.
You're really gonna get to you.
Well, I think I had it in my head that I was
you
bringing
had 15
him
or 16
one
more
still.
of those. You can't drive home.
I think I still had it in my head I was bringing him one,
him one,
and then I came over. That's all right though. I need a backup anyways. We need to. I'm gonna have to start bringing over a case of something there to start contributing to that though, because it's like the. So basically, I haven't been drinking very much at all. I'm trying to lose the weight. I'm down about 28 pounds. 28 pounds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Since you've started.
Since I've started.
Or since we began our conversation back at February.
Yeah. So since February, about 28 pounds. Yeah. It's more just more than notice. It's more noticeable just my clothes. When I'm putting on my old shirt, like I can fit this shirt again, which has been like a dream. But I basically only really drink maybe once or twice a week, and one of them is on Thursdays in the mornings. I'm gonna have these today. So what can I have during the day to kind of spinning?
You wear spandex when you spin, or what do you?
He just
that's
spins
it.
In a circle
like a little kid. College, I went and found. So the athletics division will have like a sale, and they put it out there, and then they're like, "Hey, we're having a sale on athletic stuff, like 30% off." And you're like, "Oh, that's cool. Like get a new shirt that they're trying to sell for like $5. Just get rid of it." And I found a pair of Warriors running shorts that are oh, for sure. But I bought them and I started wearing them over the compression shorts because I'm going spinning and it's pitch black. Nobody can see me. And also, we've talked about it before, but nobody gives a hot shit what you're wearing. Like they really don't. As long as they can't see like your ass crack, like people don't care. So I started wearing those. And at first I was like, oh, it's funny. It's just kind of funny. I'm wearing these shorty shorts with like these like compression shorts underneath. And then after a while, I'm like, it's just kind of comfortable. It's kind of like working out like this now.
I feel like you're describing what I see most of the NBA players, like when they're in their own gym and they're practicing and they're just wearing compression shorts, no shorts anymore. You're like, well, what's going on?
I know.
It's really weird looking.
Well, I think it's weird how all the NBA players kind of wear compression pants now. I mean, like LeBron James basically wears full compression pants and like a full like compression shirt now underneath his gear.
Yeah, no, it's pretty intense.
Like they wear like full clothing.
You know what I always love? When someone goes, I can't believe they're wearing that for fashion. You're like, no, they're wearing that for medical reasons.
It's comfort.
And they have like pads and stuff in them.
Yeah, it's comfortable. Like
for a reason.
Well, I think a lot of like the compression stuff is, I mean, that stops chafing. I don't like that's a weird a weird thing, but I'm sure running up and down a court a million times, you probably start chafing like a baby.
Well, the whole pads too.
Yeah, they have pads. Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, so that's what I work out in. But yeah, spinning every Tuesday and Thursday at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's super early. I wish I had the commitment to get. My gym's right here, and I don't.
Okay, well, here's the thing about the commitment. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and I don't want to go. Like this morning, I woke up at 4:45. I have to be there at 5:30. I try to get up a little earlier just so I can not show up there and be still like sleepy on the bike. But I mean, it's hard to go. I mean, I go and it's hard to do it. But once I'm there, so it's hard to leave. I guess that's what it is. It's hard to leave my house. Hard to leave the bed than leave my house. But once I get there, though, I'm like, all right, let's do this. Like I go through the whole workout. I don't quit early. I don't, I go through the whole thing, then go back home and get ready for work. But it's getting there. That's the hard part.
That's the impossible
I'm getting there, though. I mean, every Tuesday and Thursday. I mean, pretty faithful for like the last 6 weeks.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And then I also go Saturday mornings.
Nice.
But it's at 8.
Right.
Not goddamn 5:30 in the morning.
I've slowly been putting back on a little bit of weight. Not a lot. I'm like right in the 225 area, but I can't. I got right down to 219 and then I just couldn't get any lower.
So you basically, I mean, honestly though, if you're like between 225 and 219, that's pretty good though, right? If you just hang out in that area.
I would say so. I'd like to get a little bit more tone, a little more definition.
Right. But as long as if you can stay under.
You'd stay at that weight once you got tone probably too.
Yeah.
If you can just stay under, I think you'd probably be pretty happy with yourself though. Just don't go back up.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a big thing. And
that's where and I'm not telling you because I'm on a high horse. Like I need to not go back up.
Yeah,
I couldn't get on a high horse.
Today's lame joke day.
They're called dad jokes.
Yeah.
Well, you're not a dad, so I guess it's just lame jokes.
Yeah, well, I'm practicing. So that.
What are you trying to tell us?
Yeah, what do you mean you're practicing?
Well, eventually I'd like to have kids. And I want to be able to have those jokes ready. Speaking of jokes, I'll be doing a comedy set on the June 14th. If anybody's in the area, go check us out at Brock's. I'll be doing a comedy set with Zach Swan.
Oh, nice.
June 14th at Brock's at 7:00.
Just the two of you, or any of the other guys involved?
Dusty Katzenberger will also be involved with that one, and then Tiara Good, who is a meeting with her on Monday to talk about the website. She'll most likely be a contributing blogger as well.
Nice.
Yes.
Cool.
So another one. Get them all.
Yeah. I've even, and I probably will have to work on it more, but I've even talked to my dad about it. And I think he used to write a lot. He was an English teacher.
Right.
And so.
It's an outlet.
Yeah, I'd love to see him.
Right.
Right.
Oh.
Anyway.
No, yeah, you should.
Yeah, he's hard to push, but I definitely want to try to
close to the retired age, or is he retired?
He's 64. Yeah.
So super close.
Yeah. Well, he's retired. He's been retired because he retired early. He retired early from teaching when my mom got cancer, and then he worked for like Head Start and a couple other places for a few more years after that. And then he was doing dealer trades for a car dealership where he'd drive several hundred miles to other dealerships that they partner with to trade vehicles. Yeah,
that'd be an all right job.
It was okay. It was hard on his back.
Yeah, that was
a lot of sin.
But yeah, so he did that for
being on the road
though.
That'd be all right.
Yeah,
I mean, as long as it's not a truck driver,
right. But so now he's done permanently though.
Well, that
doesn't work at all, so that's good for him.
Get him to write.
He should.
I envy you guys that can write. I can't do it. I'm so bad at it.
I don't think I'm good at it.
Well,
I think I'm pretty good at it.
I think I do a good job looking okay at it.
I mean,
I kind of have a fake it mentality. Like I can kind of do okay. I can work my way around the material. I can definitely write better than I can speak sometimes, for sure. But
I think that where I'm going to go on my blog is because I don't do a podcast about pop culture anymore.
Yeah.
We did Basement Boys 1 for a long time, which was a lot of pop culture stuff. And I do sports now. And then
wait, I can't hear you.
And then I do the Let's Play.
Oh, there
it is.
I can hear you now.
Then I do the Let's Play.
Oh my god, that reminds me of the Batman skit.
What? Oh yeah.
With what was his name?
He's got he's putting on the glasses or whatever.
I know, but who's the
Pete Holmes?
Pete Holmes. Yeah.
Oh.
He's
I like Pete Holmes.
Like Superman takes off his glasses and he's like,
"Where is he?"
Yeah. Or he puts on the glasses and he's like,
he's being Batman.
Yeah, he's like, you should have saw Superman was here. So I'm thinking about doing something more pop culture related for my blog, just because I still think it's fun, and maybe I'll talk about, I don't know, just right. Like I thought about doing like
I'm gonna be pretty random. I titled mine that weird, like the title, pacing the brain and circling the drain. Kind of like I get in my head a lot, and
just kind of like
all the time I think about death.
Right.
But it's not the only thing I think about. And so basically, and I don't want it to be that dark every time I write something. I want to have some fun stuff too.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be more randomized, but I liked that title.
No, it's a good title. I don't have a title yet. I do know that I was just thinking about, like, I thought it'd be fun to write. I want to write about stuff that I actually so I read Lars's review and I was like, man, that's fucking brilliant to do a review of something so old like that. So I thought it'd be really cool to write like a robot, like
movie.
Yeah, and I thought it'd be cool to like write like a review of like RoboCop.
No, yeah, I think it's a great. I don't think it's not been done. I think people do it, but I think it's a fun.
That's fun. I mean, like
thing to do.
Write about what you know, right? Like writing 101. Like, what do you know? Like, it'd be fun to write about like RoboCop and like David Cronenberg's The Fly.
I can tell you this much: anyone under the age of 24, it'll be the first experience if they read it of that movie.
Yeah.
They're so bad at pop culture references that are older than the last 5 years. I work with a lot of them, and
I've been showing Bree a lot of the movies that we watched growing up.
Yeah.
And one of the things I noticed is that a lot of stuff that she likes makes a lot of references to the movies that we liked growing up. You know, a lot of callbacks, a lot of references, a lot of maybe some satire, but just a lot of callbacks. Like there was one episode of American Dad, and we had just watched the original Blade Runner. And there's one episode of American Dad where Steve and his friend Snot create these clones too that they're going to take to prom. And Stan finds out what they were. They're clones from the FBI, you know. So he's like, oh, they're going to be killed, you know.
Yeah.
And then he puts on this trench coat and his hair is kind of messy. And it's very clearly that he is Harrison Ford and they're replicants. And we had just watched that movie, and Brie goes, "Hey, And I'm like, yeah, this is why we got to watch all these movies, because at the very least, like so you can see these references. So just so you can see references. I've made the joke a few times, but it's pretty true. And I think Lewis, we should try getting him on a show. Lewis Sylvester, who's the professor on Hanging from the Balcony.
Yeah,
he's an actual professor and teaches movies, teaches film, and he's hilarious too. But I've made the joke to him, and he's absolutely agrees. I feel like just a huge part of just getting my education, like going to college and having to take all the crappy reading classes I've had to take, is so that I can watch a movie and then have them make some obscure reference and have me be like, oh, hey, I read that. I know what Dante's Inferno is. You know, like just stuff like that. And just be like, oh, hey, I get that.
I played the game.
It's a good game. But you know what I mean?
Right.
But you don't have to go to college to do that, though. All you have to do is just watch movies.
Right.
Or, like just watch as many movies as you can.
Yeah.
And then eventually you'll start picking up on a bunch of other stuff. Like Rick and Morty, it's a good example on one of the episodes where they mess up the universe they're in and they Cronenberg everybody to where they're all like mutants. It's like body horror.
Yeah.
And, somebody who's Bree's age, she had never seen David Cronenberg's The Fly. So until we watched that movie, now we can go back and watch that episode and she'll probably shit her pants.
Do you want to know why she hasn't seen it? How did she get access to it? There's no TR video anymore.
It's true. Oh, we have seen The Fly now.
No, I know. I just mean I was saying that reference basically about them not knowing these old.
No,
movies,
that is true.
They don't have access to them. They have no way. There's no backlog.
I mean, yeah, I know that's true. And how do you know to go watch a movie that old now without somebody making you going and watching that movie? I remember when David Cronenberg's The Fly, because that was out even before we were born. I think that movie's from '83. It's either
early '80s, yeah.
Early '80s. I'm pretty sure it's 1983. So that's before I was born. So I had never seen it, but my mom had seen it, and for whatever fucking demented psychopathic reason, my mom thought that was an okay movie for me to watch as a kid. And I watched that movie as a small kid, and then I've seen that movie probably about 1 million times. The other movie that as demented that she would let me watch is John Carpenter's The Thing, with all those creepy ass head spiders and stuff. And my mom, for whatever reason, thought that was okay for me to watch. Now, granted,
probably wasn't bloody gory with language.
Yeah, no, not at all. And but for whatever reason, but it worked though.
Yeah,
she let me watch those, and now traditionally, that's my favorite type of movie. And now, whenever I watch a movie that has like special effects, like computer animation, like body stuff like that, like I watched The Thing kind of remake or whatever, and it's all computer animated, and I was like, yawn.
Well,
like I want to see the animatronics.
While we're talking about the nostalgia, really quick,
sure,
let's talk about Cobra Kai.
Let's talk about Cobra. You have not seen it though?
I haven't, but I'm probably gonna go.
We can
legally download it tonight.
We can speak. We can speak loosely around it. I think.
Oh, you're not gonna spoil it for
me. It doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter if we spoil it. I don't think, because it's just a great show.
It really is. So first off, I want to point out something that you actually said to me. So I'm gonna steal your thought on this. But one of the things that works so well with it is that the guy that plays Daniel LaRusso. What's his name?
William Zabka.
No. That's Johnny.
Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio and William Zabka, both of them have not really done anything since Karate Kid.
They've worked, but they haven't worked like consistently, and not probably within the last 15, 20 years.
And not big.
Ralph was in an episode of Psych.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I've ever seen.
And Zabka had like a little run on How I Met Your Mother.
Right.
As himself.
Yeah.
Yes.
So so they haven't done they don't have a huge library of like all these successes. They're not in the Avengers. They're not like those size actors.
Right.
One of the things about that though,
X-Men.
No, So one of the things that works for that though, works for the Cobra Kai like reboot is that
you remember them as those characters.
You remember them as those characters, and it's pretty believable that that's how they've been for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things.
The show
really
gave me
cool
goosebumps.
Same here, several times.
It was
several
just that
times.
good.
I loved it. I mean, there's a few scenes where I mean
every show has some areas.
Well,
but
I like a show that can move me though. It was a show that made me laugh, but in the same episode would make me. I don't want to say tear up.
You felt for his character.
Absolutely. And then there was just certain things in the show that it didn't make me tear up or cry, but would make me feel like, if I was hammered drunk, I could be crying right now.
Yeah.
So it had a good range of emotions in it though.
Right.
It was what it felt like is it felt like The Office, where it was a show that could make you laugh, and then the same episode make you tear up. And there's some parts of it that gave me goosebumps where I was like, man, that's awesome. And then it's kind of like BoJack Horseman, where it kind of like peaks at like something funny, and then it brings you back down to reality with like something that's kind of depressing, because it's still like Johnny Lawrence's life is not amazing. And so you're still like, man, it's just, I don't know. I'm so good.
I didn't tell her she was a bitch. I told her to stop being a bitch or whatever it was.
Yeah, now you're gonna fire me.
I didn't call her a bitch.
I didn't call her a bitch. I said she was acting like she was being bitchy.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Now you're gonna fire me because of that bitch. But I mean, the show takes a whole bunch of tropes from the original Karate Kid. I mean, if you watch the original Karate Kid,
the fact that he cheated, that's an illegal move, by the way.
Well, Cobra Kai is they are bad guys.
They did talk about that.
They do talk about that.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. Cobra Kai are the bad guys though. They're bullies. In the original Karate Kid, they're bullies.
Not the version I
watched. But in this though, they totally flip it, because all the kids that want to go learn karate are kids that are being bullied in school.
They're outcasts.
Yeah. They're outcasts.
But if you watch that, and I fell asleep the other night because I turned on Karate Kid.
Right.
If you watch that through a slightly different prism, and I think that's how they really built the concept of this show, is you could see it from the side of Johnny.
Well, and then maybe those kids were bullied.
Right.
Well, and he was being bullied by his instructor.
Right.
And you find out,
and you see that at the end,
and Cobra Kai, you also see that he didn't have a great house. He didn't have a great
they made flashbacks.
Yeah, that we didn't know about, right? Because they probably weren't in the original shows.
They're not, no.
They did have some far flashbacks that weren't from the original movies,
right? Yeah,
but they utilized the archive footage from those movies very well for those flashbacks.
Yes, they did. Yes, but they also showed more flashbacks of him, like with his stepdad,
like super young,
and that you don't see. And then
that's awesome, because you never know about the other guy's past.
Ralph's past. So one of the things I loved about the show, it was actually my favorite episode of the show, was the second to last one. And it is when basically Ralph's idiot cousin and the couple of biker guys like torch Johnny's car, and Johnny shows up at shows up at Daniel LaRusso's house to like beat him up because he's pissed.
Yeah.
And he shows up there, and of course LaRusso's wife is like the only clear head, and she's like, do you guys want to stand up here and beat the crap out of each other, or do you guys want to talk this over some breakfast? And Daniel LaRusso's like, are you hungry? And he's like, I could eat. So then they're sitting there eating breakfast together, and you're like, where is this going? So they come to the deal. Basically, LaRusso's wife comes to the decision that they're going to give him a car. They owe him a car. His car's destroyed. So they go to the car lot. He picks out a cool car. It's like a Dodge Charger, I think. It's a cool car. So then they go driving around, and at first they're listening to REO Speedwagon, and he goes, you like REO Speedwagon? What man wouldn't? And then but then they both start kind of rocking their head, and they both start listening to like singing with it, and you're like, so then you're also realizing so I think this is one of the things I liked about it too, is I've had people who I did not get along well with in high school, who I have since established rapport with them that when I see them in public, I'm not friends with them, but when I see them in public, we say hi, how are you doing? How are things? And then, move on with our lives. And it's people who I didn't necessarily like in high school, but I think they're pretty all right now. And so it was very realistic for those two to realize they actually have a lot more in common.
Right.
So Johnny's driving the car. Daniel LaRusso sees his apartment building from the first movie, from the film. This terrible apartment building, which they do a really good job of cutting in the flashbacks from when they move in there with his mom, and and it's really just beautifully done. And
well, that flashback they did, I mean, they did some incredible just editing techniques where he was watching. Basically, they filmed it like he was watching his instructor like break his trophy, and and it was like he was watching it happen. Yeah, that was kind of cool to watch.
This is on Netflix.
This is on YouTube Red.
YouTube Red. Okay.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it honestly, if anybody listens to it, if it's worth doing the trial period to get through it. The episodes are 30 minutes long. You can get through it in the afternoon.
Oh yeah, we watched it in an evening because it was just. I showed.
I couldn't stop.
I watched one episode.
Is it clean?
What's that?
Is it clean?
It's cleanish. It's not horrible.
We watched it with my 8-year-old, 10-year-old.
Okay.
It's honestly, there's a few things here and there, but mostly just like ass. I don't think there's any F-bombs.
No,
it's produced by Will Smith.
It's regular language. You see,
and it's got some humor in it and some what's the word I'm looking for? Non-PC
It's
jokes.
very non-PC, yeah.
But I liked that a lot about it.
I know it worked for because of who he is.
Right.
I know. So then the ending, I mean, like even just like the whole show makes you think like, okay, I'm gonna be rooting for Johnny. This is called Cobra Kai. Like this is from his point of view. But no, it absolutely is not. It's from both points of view. It basically takes Karate Kid and it makes it to where maybe what Karate Kid should have been. Maybe it should have been a story about two kids coming from two different backgrounds and not knowing who you should root for.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it should have been.
I don't think Cobra Kai works without Karate Kid in the.
Oh, I don't think so either.
In the ether, but I think it has potential to eclipse Karate Kid.
Oh, I think so
in terms
too.
Of.
I mean, mostly just because I love the idea of rooting for both Daniel and Johnny. And by the end of it, you're like, I mean, I don't know. You can tell Johnny has.
You watched the opening credits to Karate Kid. Zapka's like he's like double billed with some other kid, fifth or sixth down the line. Now he's second billed.
Right.
So I mean, that was kind of just a cool thing to see.
Yeah, and LaRusso and Zapka are both producers for it.
Yeah.
Or LaRusso, Macchio, Ralph Macchio.
I feel like they'd have to be.
Yeah, they are.
Who would push the show?
The executive producer is Will Smith. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Do you see he's gonna drop a new album here pretty soon?
No, I did not see that. I thought it was interesting.
He's been getting jiggy with it.
I thought it was interesting that Will Smith though was the executive producer.
Yeah.
That I saw that on there, and at first I saw it was on Wikipedia, and then I was like, clicked on his name. I'm like, well, maybe this means somebody else, and then it goes to Will Smith's page. It's like, oh, that's interesting.
I'm always curious how people like that are approached. Like, was Will Smith approached from Ralph at a party?
Right. Maybe he was a fan.
Yeah, I mean, he would have been. Oh, it was 20s.
Yeah.
Maybe no, he would have been younger than that.
Late teens.
Yeah. So the other thing that really worked for it too, that I really liked, was all of the Miyagi stuff.
Yeah.
Where you can.
Is he still alive?
No, he died in 2005. I think.
Died in 2005. In the show, he dies in 2011, and it's a plot point to where Miyagi really was like a father figure to Daniel LaRusso, and there's a few scenes that are kind of like pretty sentimental, pretty well done, where he's like, he goes to the gravestone and has a bonsai plant outside of it, and he trims it up a little bit, and he's like, man, if there could have been a time for you to be here, it'd be right now, and you're just like, man, I feel for him, because it's like his guidance is gone.
Well, and I love what they did with what he did with the bonsai tree, because that is totally something somebody would do.
Yeah.
If they got into that business.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it was
yeah. They set it up for
really,
a sequel.
really well written. Yeah, there's a note that it's been renewed.
It's
for a
already been renewed.
season.
for a second season, and they set it up really well for it. I thought.
Yeah.
One kind of strange thing about it. I'm not going to spoil any of that because it was something that was very surprising to me. But I like that his daughter is obviously going to be like in the Miyagi dojo. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
Because the girl even tells her, like her friend, that joins the Cobra Kai. She's like, even if you're not a Cobra Kai, we need more girls out there. And you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's going to be in the next one, like as a pupil again.
Right.
No, I got to watch it.
It's good, man. It's
good.
I need to watch that. I need to watch Jean-Claude Van Johnson. Have you guys heard of that?
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it either.
So Amazon, I believe, is who made it. There was a 1-episode kind of teaser they put out to see how it was going to do. And basically, the plot would be when Jean-Claude Van Damme was out doing all of his movies on location, he was actually a hitman. And so he would go out on location, do the movie, but his real reason why he was out there was he was a hired hitman. And so he's been retired and he's coming back to the game.
Oh, that's funny.
But his name outside of the movies is Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
Is it
it's funny. It's really funny.
Is it renewed or is it?
Yeah, they made it first.
Is that one of those? I vaguely remember that was they did the.
It took about a year and a half for the season to come out after they.
They did the teaser, and I believe it was during the same time. It was kind of interesting. They did
like 3 or 4 teaser
because they did the Tick.
Yeah, Amazon does what's called pilot season for Amazon, and so they do it at the same time every year, and they'll do a pilot for a show, but then if the viewership, if it gets voted up and it actually gets picked up, it takes a while for that.
Yeah, because
that first season
to get. They did a pilot and then.
What's interesting about that though is I think they even gave it was like a vote, like which one do you want to see?
They put it in the viewers' hands, yeah.
So they still did it for that one because the Tick got made.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen it either.
I haven't seen more of that show, but I did watch the original pilot and I was like, I love Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That kind of reminds me of a concept I had when I watched one of the Expendable ones. I don't remember. I think it's the first one, might be the second one, but the
second one wasn't very good.
No. But there's a scene where it might be the first movie where basically they like Chuck Norris shows up. Is it the first movie?
I thought that was the third one.
That might be the third movie.
Third one, yeah.
So there's a scene where they're all like out there fighting, and then out of nowhere, Chuck Norris comes out, and he's basically like, "My name's Ace or Scott or whatever, Scout." And I thought it'd be really funny. I just wanted for 1 second for him just to come out and have like Chuck Norris come out, and then as he's like walking up to them, have like Jason Statham lean over to like Sylvester Stallone and be like, "Is that fucking Chuck Norris?"
Chuck Norris is an actor from there.
They're all playing characters, and is that fucking Chuck Norris? Yeah. Which I kind of robbed from a John Mulaney joke. I'll make sure I give any credit to that. There's a scene. Did you see any? Do you like John Mulaney?
Yeah, I like Mulaney.
He talks about that episode where Dean Cain is on an episode of Law and Order SVU as like he's in a lineup. He's like, and I half expected for them to be like, "Is that Dean Cain?"
Superman?
Yeah, they gotta stop when they do those shows casting recognizable faces, because it's like, okay, it's that guy. As the viewer, you're like, I know who it is, or I know, or you know.
Well, the only person I recognize is also Dean Cain too. Weird.
Yeah.
He's probably the killer.
Exactly.
Right. Oh, it's not Dean Cain.
Have you watched the trailer at least for Barry? With Bill Hader?
No, not yet.
I didn't know Bill Hader was still in.
Oh wait, no, sorry, I was thinking of somebody
else.
Is it a comedy?
It's an HBO show.
Oh, okay.
He plays a hitman.
Oh,
that wants to get into acting.
Yeah,
and get out of the hitman business.
For that. It looks pretty good.
He's ex-military. The whole first season's run. What's his name from News Radio's in it too? James. Stephen Root. Root.
Okay.
I was thinking James from News. His name in News Radio is James. Mr. James.
I used to love Dave Foley.
Dave Foley, the favorite thing I've ever seen him in was News Radio.
That's a great show. Man, that's too bad Phil Hartman died, because that show would have kept going probably another 4 seasons at least.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's great in that show. Dave Foley is.
Yeah, the show I thought was a great show, and it would have kept going. I think.
So too. Yeah.
I mean, they tried with Lithgow, but it didn't.
No, with John Lovitz.
Why did I think Lithgow?
Well, and I think that when I watched something about that, though, they said they knew the show was going to end, and that was going to be the last season, and that basically John Lovitz came in as like
to pay tribute.
Yeah, and it was as kind of like because he's friends with Phil Hartman in real life,
right?
Says SNL, so it was like, we're probably, or it was maybe like they didn't know, but it was like, we're probably only gonna get one more season,
right?
So like, let's at least wrap it up with like John Lovitz.
Well, I think, and everybody in that cast, even like, I don't like Andy Dick that much.
He was good on that show, though.
But he was good in that show.
Yeah,
the character that he played in that show was likable.
Yeah, that's a good show. I'm gonna have to watch that show again.
Yeah,
News Radio.
Yeah, I never watched it. I heard it was good.
It was a good comedy. Yeah, it was a laugh track. I mean, it's old. It's 90s.
I'm not weird with the laugh track that you are.
I just have a hard time with it, you know. Don't tell me when to laugh. I'll tell you when I want to laugh.
They do that with I think, don't they film The Ranch with Ashton Kutcher? They film that in front of a studio audience.
I think so. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Is that still going on? Even though
him,
yes, they did
nearly immediately.
Yeah,
without
quickly.
any questions.
Yeah.
As soon as that came out, I think it'd been
hours.
Yeah,
it was quick
because he was like right in the mix of all of that movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
get your house in order, actors.
Your house of cards will come tumbling down.
Did you guys hear Morgan Freeman added to that list of people
that did something?
I haven't read anything about it, but I heard he's.
I read like he'd done some weird stuff a few years ago. Didn't he date like a stepdaughter or something?
Oh, that sounds really weird. No, I don't know.
I don't know.
I hope that's not true, but I don't know. At this point, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
The only one that's gonna be fine. You mark my words. Louis C.K. is gonna be fine. He'll go into hiding for a few years. He'll write something and put it out there. It'll be good again.
He'll come back and write jokes about it.
Well, the thing is,
and also the nature of what he did.
I've talked to a lot of women who are like, feminists and were like, talk about the Me Too movement a lot.
Yeah.
And every one of them that I've talked to, which is, by the way, it's pure rhetoric, right? Every one of them has said that, like, I don't know if his was as serious.
It was weird.
I don't know, like, it's weird and it's not cool, but it's definitely different than like
assault.
So I don't know.
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein's going to jail. There's a big difference.
He is going to jail. So is Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Dr. Cos.
It sure changes a lot of your world.
It does. Watch out who your hearers are.
And with that, thanks for listening to the show. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thanks, everybody.
Next week.
See you later.
Have a good night. Ooh, the ear killer.